How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. It's happening. It's happening for Solana. It's happening for altcoins. There's something really important happening right now. Everyone's watching the higher high on Bitcoin right now. Everyone's extremely bullish, but there's something really important happening right now with altcoins. And this will change how the market moves going forward. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. I was able to sit down with Tyler from the Crypto Catch-Up to get answers to some of these questions. He has some really good insights. Check out his channel underneath the video. And if you want to trade on an exchange that does not go constantly down when Bitcoin goes up 3 or 4%, if you want to be on an exchange that does not crash, check out the link underneath the video to Margex. Of course, that can happen with any exchange, but it's consistently happened with Coinbase. You can long the market, you can short the market here on Margex. As you can see, altcoins up significantly. Bitcoin's up over 65,000. If you want to place long trades, which, do pretty well, as you can see there. If you want to put on some longs or some shorts, you can check out the link underneath the video. They're doing a big Casper airdrop, so all you do is just trade on the platform with the link underneath the video. And then after this promo period of 11 more days, you get free Casper tokens. So definitely check that out underneath the video, and let's get into it. Tyler, thanks so much for coming back on the channel. The market is interesting. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I mean, things have heated up, things are heating up. And I try, whenever I was younger, my dad always told me, don't get too high in the highs, don't get too low in the lows. And so while things have been boring and things have been kind of blah, I wasn't getting too low. But now that we're moving a little bit, I'm like, oh man, it sure does feel good, hitting up, talking to my fiance, like maybe we should go get a little extra dinner tonight, but overall, things are looking good. But we can't ignore the fact that there are still some things heating up right now, and we're not out of the woods yet. It's so easy for us to kind of get in this mindset where, oh, it finally moved up a little bit and we feel amazing. But when you zoom out, there's still a lot of recovery that needs to happen, right? So it's great that maybe you fix that disease or heal that disease that you have in your body, but you still got to take steps to get through all of the damage that was done. And so I think we're still in recovery, but things do feel good for sure.
Yeah. I think we're all ordering an extra side of meat on our Chipotle bowl tonight or whatever. But yeah, maybe you can go into, I know we were just talking about, this is like a pretty pivotal time. We just broke to a new higher high on Bitcoin, but like there's something really happening with alts right now that is like, this is the moment. This is the moment where we figure out, like, is this the move?
Yeah. So there is something that's happening right now, and I just don't think people are even acknowledging just how important this is. Okay. So what we're seeing right now is this market determining whether or not, and when I say this market, I'm talking specifically about altcoins right now. We're going to leave Bitcoin alone, focus on alts a little bit. We're seeing it determine whether or not we're actually going to change trend or not. And what I mean by that is we're going to look at total 2, okay? Total 2 is just the total market cap of all cryptos excluding Bitcoin. So all of your altcoins. Some people don't call Ethereum altcoin. It's an altcoin.
No stable coins.
Right, exactly. So what we can see here is something has happened pretty consistently since, let's go ahead and call it March 14th of 2024. Now, mind you, this has been happening now for 197 days. And what that is consistently lower macro highs, lower macro lows, lower high, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We have consistently failed to put in higher lows or higher highs up until recently. Something changed when we got this huge move to the downside. Now, this was quite catastrophic, honestly. I do remember this moment. I was like, if there is a bottom coming, this feels like the bottom, because it was just rough. The moment we wicked like this, it was pretty gross. And what happened was that we set in that bottom, we got a nice wick, right? What many people call a fake out. And we've now started to push higher. And what's beautiful about it is that as we've now started to change trend a bit, we've actually recently established the very first macro high or low that we've seen in a very long time. It's just not something that's happened frequently. You could argue that the last one was here, but in the grand scheme of things, this was before we were really established within this trend. Since the actual trend has been established, this is the first macro high or low we've established since then. Now, the reason why this is so important. The reason why this is so important is because trends consist of 2 things, and they're pretty simple: highs and lows, right? And whenever you're trying to determine whether or not you are going to change trend in the sense of, okay, are we going to break out of this big downtrend that we've been in? We need to see both of those change, which means if we're going to set a higher low, we need to now set a higher high. And if you're capable of establishing a higher high, now you're in a situation in which, from a macro perspective, things are changing. Because oftentimes, I mean, how many times throughout this entire run have we seen the market barely pump, everyone screams we're back, then it dumps. Then the market pumps, everyone screams we're back, then it dumps. It's happened at least 4 or 5 times within the last 3 months, 4 months roughly. This actually identifies if we are out of this yet. It's one of those moments in which if we can see this market, which includes our altcoins, which includes some of your majors as well, such as your Ethereums, your Solanas, and things like that. Let me go back here. This is going to determine whether or not we can actually say that things are different now, that things are changing. This isn't just some little fake out pump, fake out pump, fake out pump, fake out pump like we've seen over and over again. This is an actual change of trend. And that puts us in a spot where the door is open for us to be able to continue higher. And so what we're looking for right now to kind of continue off of that is for this to actually happen. Now, what you can see here is we're almost there. We're almost there on total too. What you can see is that we have this high right around 966 billion. We're currently set at 953 billion at the time of recording. And if we're capable of breaking 966, we've officially set a higher low and a higher high, which puts us in a position in which altcoins actually have opened up the door for this trend to change and maybe go into some type of little mini altcoin season. And this is applicable to the rest, right? If you look at something like, I'm just going to go down the list here just for a few, but Jasmine, trying to break that most recent macro high. You look at something like Ethereum, lagging a little bit as it has been this year, but still also chasing that most recent high. You look at something like Solana, chasing that most recent macro high. You look at AVAX, broke that high, right? So that's an interesting one. That one changes things a little bit. DOT, chasing that macro high. And it goes on and on and on. And so holders need to be watching very, very closely if this altcoin market can finally establish a break of trend, a trend that we've been in for 200 days now.
What do you think breaks that trend? Is it the change from the Fed or quantitative easing, or like when every crypto pumps? It's obviously not something new with one crypto, right?
Right. So I think it's just a combination of things. I would say, the trend itself breaking is almost done now. And I would say the reason why we've been capable of doing this is people are expecting or anticipating that risk on assets are going to perform better, right? We spent so long, not even just in the world of DeFi, but in the world of traditional finance, so long in a risk off environment. And it feels like people are just excited to do something now. You know what I mean? It's the reason why you see stocks doing so well. It's the reason why you see other risk on assets doing well, even outside of crypto. And I think it's translating super well in a time in which Bitcoin's been beating this market up to some degree, right? It's not even been close. We saw Bitcoin dominance shoot up. And realistically, in moments which Bitcoin dominance is shooting up, it's boring. No one really likes that. No one really wants that except for Bitcoin maxis. And even they get bored, right? And so because of that, I think it's just due to the fact that risk on assets are becoming more and more seems as if that's the way to go, especially as interest rates do gradually decline over time.
Sure. What are the cryptos you're bullish on? We'll wrap it up here in a second, but I'm curious.
So where I'm at right now is obviously I'm bullish on everything. It's kind of like I'm in that everything bubble mindset right now where it's like, okay, we very well might enter into a time where everything moves upwards. Why? Because historically, these next 6 months are the best 6 months in crypto. And then when you add in the fact that we saw a halving this year, it makes it better. When you add in presidential elections, it makes it better. That's just what history says, right? So obviously your Bitcoin's bullish on, your Ethereum's bullish on, Solana's bullish on. Those are all obvious. But what I'm the most bullish on right now is that I think the cryptos that are going to make a statement this cycle are going to start making statements soon. So what that means is that every cycle we've been a part of, we've seen it where, oh shit, there's this thing called Solana that just absolutely popped up out of nowhere, or Ton that popped up out of nowhere, Binance popped up out of nowhere. The ones that are going to be leaders of the next cycle are going to start making a name for themselves this cycle. And I think those are your ones that are in that top 50, top 60, top 70 range that are going to start making fast moves, right? And so obviously, that can go down towards your Jasmines, your Caspos, which obviously is a little bit bigger, but your Renders, those ones where I wouldn't even call it a tier 1 altcoin. They're like tier 2, tier 3 altcoins that are going to become tier 1 altcoins. That's what I'm looking for right now. So
Sure. Okay. What if someone wants to make, 100 grand? They're going to put it within Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Jasmine, Caspa, all those. Like, how much do you think they need to get there? Do you think everything's going to 10x, 5x, 2x? What do you think?
I think a reasonable 5x is very possible. Just from, you look at something like Solana, which is still currently sat around $150. I have extremely high conviction that Solana is going to hit $500. So $450, $500. That's a 3x still. And that's your top 3, top 4 biggest altcoins. So if you can see something like that 3 or 4x, a reasonable 5x makes a lot of sense to me. If you take a little bit more of a risk and you head down to, again, some of your smaller ones that are maybe $1 billion in market cap, 800 million in market cap, a 10, 15x is possible. So I think people are going to end up seeing 6-figure portfolios off of low 5-figure portfolios, as long as they understand it. You're going to have a very small time to get out, and you need to get out. Yeah. It just comes down to that. It's not, sometimes it's not just finding the right things to invest in. It's knowing you're being greedy, get out. And I wish I would have done that a little bit better in my second cycle, but you know, it's way better than the first cycle. The first cycle, we all just got wrecked. So cycle number 3, here we are. I will be taking some profits when the time comes. But I do think, I think a portfolio of anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 can easily be a $100,000 portfolio.
Okay. Yeah. That's the hard thing I think that a lot of people forget about is like something might 10x, but it doubles in like a day or something at the very end. Like just one day in March we moved 18% on total 2 in one day. So like, and then we went up after that. So like you could get wicked out and sell, and then it goes up another 100, 200%, and you were in on 100x, but you got like a 30x. So yeah, being uncomfortable when you sell, I feel like is a feature. Like you have to be uncomfortable. Like, oh, I'm missing out. But Tyler, thanks so much. I appreciate it. We've done 2 videos. We're going to link you underneath the video. Of course, everyone can check out Margex too if you want to get irresponsibly long, but you know, keep it responsible, right? Like make sure that this is money that you can lose, but obviously you can get access to more money by using something like leverage. Thank you so much. We'll have to have you back on the channel.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. See you, everybody.
Bye.